in LG. Elo, Overlord, Curios, Slash, and Rin. Really stepping into their own today for me is Rin on that Lapras, having some big-time plays in big-time games. Of course, Overlord does what they do, but every member of this team has stepped up to return them to form from last year.
But look, there is no I in team, right? The thing is, there are 5 members, they all have to work together. But it's not only that Lapras, it's that Buzzwole, and obviously, as we said, Overlord just does his thing.
Without a doubt. And it's only facilitated because of that person right there. Elo on the other side here is Overlord. They're tandem and tan, always next to each other. Why not? That's how they play. That's how they stay. Curios, the team captain, level-heading all of these players out. Slash, Indomitable Will, of course. And lastly, Rin, the newest addition to the squad for this year that's looking to earn their place amongst these current world champions and solidify themselves as deserving to be there.
Well, look, they've already made it this far. I think they might have already solidified that spot, right?
If you ask LG, they would say absolutely not. The job's not done. So we're getting into the ban phase here. Kello, let's tackle this thing.
All right, let's see what is up first on the chopping block. We have obviously had some really popular picks, but then also some targeted bans. So, are there going to be any targeted bans, or is it just a general thing? We have, ooh, looks like they're hovering over a Lapras, and wait, is that, I was going to say, what are you doing with that Greedent?
Switching back over to the Urshifu, of course, Lapras and Urshifu not going to be options this game. A premier defender down. And of course, we just saw what Urshifu can do in the top players' hands, such as Lucapo, such as all 5 of these players right here. It is off the chopping block, but grabbing the Slowbro here is going to be a great tool with the Slow Beam to isolate wherever Overlord ends up.
Look, I think that is a great pick. We have Curios and Slash picking up the Umbreon and Inteleon. I know these 2 Pokemon, once again, really popular picks, really at the top of that meta game.
Without a doubt. We've seen Inteleon look great all day long. Leafeon as well. Mame locking that in. Yumi on the Blissey, which is a Slash favorite as well. And that's one of the best support tools that they'd like to put into the pocket of Overlord. Quickly snatching up a Zacian though. And Hoopa's Elo is stuff of legend. They won the World Championships on this Pokemon specifically. They haven't stopped playing it since then, which means they've only gotten better.
No, it is such a great Pokemon to have on your side. We've talked about its kit, its healing, its maneuverability to go from that top to the bottom, but we need to see what these last 2 picks are going to be for OYASUMI Makuro.
Espeon, definitely a surprise here. They believe it's going to have the tools it needs to combat wherever, again, Overlord ends up, because I'm not sure we've found that Pokemon quite yet. Is that Wigglytuff going to be locked in? No shot. We got the Overlord on the Venusaur. Of course, PE locking in the Zoroark. That's going to be a formidable opponent as well, but we are 40 seconds away from these Titans knuckling up and squaring off.
Look, we've seen Overlord on this Venusaur before. It's just a matter of this team sticking together and being that wrecking ball. But the thing is, they don't have the Blissey on their side this time round, so they don't get that instant healing from that Egg Bomb. We'll have to see, as you said, Stuff of Legends, Elo. We have Rin on the Zacian, another legendary here. But you know what? I think OYASUMI Makuro, they're also looking pretty feisty.
I mean, Overlord with that loadout, they're going Venusaur for sure. Zacian is going to be playing the front line, and they're going to be pot-shot and damage from a distance. But we need to get the casters in here because we got a game underway. OYASUMI Makuro, Luminosity, Chef, Zoinks, take it away.
Winners finals time here in Yokohama, Japan. One of these teams is going to earn their spot in the grand finals, and we haven't talked too much about how profitable that position is in. You are going into best of 5 territory, and if you come from that winner's side, you have a bracket reset advantage. Whatever team comes from loser's bracket is going to need to defeat you twice in a row. This game is so important in this tournament run.
It is, especially between these 2 teams that have been so dominant at this point in the top 4. Any of these teams could easily take it, so you want that advantage. You need that advantage to feel even some semblance of safe. But here we go. Game number 1 of Winners Finals. OYASUMI Makuro on the left, Luminosity on the right.
OYASUMI Makuro bringing a double speedster composition into this Winners Finals match. And Luminosity going to last pick that Venusaur. I think we're going to see the Solar Beam like Dukesnax mentioned, but I have to imagine Overlord is going to grab that Giga Drain as well. You need some kind of healing support when that Zoroark and when that Leafeon charge you down.
Yeah, I'd have to assume that's why they decided that as kind of a flex. This team is not going to be the easiest on the side of Luminosity to run over with this double speedster comp. And if there is a team that knows a lot about the double dive comp, it's probably Luminosity themselves. They probably know a great strategy to counter, but that Leafeon going down.
Elo getting the knockout there. Red buff and Astonished Stun working together to make sure that knockout happens, and Mame is eliminated as well. Rin with a huge play. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if we have seen Rin's Zacian so far today. But he with an incredible engagement. Japan is on the KO board as OYASUMI Makuro finds the knockout onto Rin.
What a brawl already. They are just ready to fight in this top path. They're just like, whoever's going to win this is going to win the entire game. We're willing to bet it all. Overlord looking a little bit low, but has to fight for those Altaria. There's no other choice. Gets quite a bit of it, of course. Great way to secure that with all that AoE damage on the Ivysaur. But a lot of it still is going to come down to all these fights happening on the top. He's coming in for the invade. Not going to be able to stop it of Elo alone. But in the meantime, Mame going down. This is definitely already a battle between these two top path Pokemon. Whoa, and that's two. Can we get a third?
Rin looking for three. Huge stun by Elo, trying to chase down with that hyperspace hold, but I don't think the move speed is going to be enough. Yume is going to be able to reset back to base, and a Solar Blade from Mame is going to KO Rin. Trying to stack, has a tough price there as a huge KO comes from OYASUMI Makuro. They don't have the space to invade a second time in that central area right now, meaning that Overlord is going to hit level 7 on this Ivysaur, so close to level 9 before we hit that 7-minute mark.
There is already so much experience on board. There's so much fighting on board before we're even like, we're just barely hitting that 8-minute mark. This is wild. We've not even hit the first Reggies yet, and already we're seeing these teams really come together. But most of it, again, I keep saying it, this top path is a battlefield. There's non-stop fighting here. Currently, we see the side of OYASUMI Makuro trying to force stack and push through to try to get some goals in here, maybe get some stacks, but pushing it on a Hoopa and a Zacian together can be very tough. They're going to try regardless.
Good patience by Rin so far, but he is going to be able to find the knockout. Hoopa Portal is going to bring Curios up to join this fight, and the Ninja Doll is going to buy them a little bit of time, and he actually, amazing play there from Curios. The wait time on that Faith attack was just long enough. They hold out, and they are able to wait out that dash reset. Amazing work, and look at this. Luminosity with an extremely quick goal zone break so that they have a better chance at this first basement Reggie fight, and Slash is taking a great 1v1 against Mame in the bottom path. They are pushing very far. More stacks for the Umbreon.
It was an excellent manual dodge as well on the Solar Blade, but now we've got two tier 1s down. OYASUMI Makuro taking the top tier 1, the bottom tier 1 going to Luminosity. So I'm assuming that they're going to be prioritizing each of the spots that they have the spacing advantage in. It's exactly what's going to happen. Bottom Reggie going to the side of Luminosity. Top Regieleki going to the side of OYASUMI Makuro.
OYASUMI Makuro prioritizing top path, 1 for scoring, but 2 to make sure that Rin's Zacian is kept at a low level. And P's been doing a very good job of that. However, that level 9 is matched on either side, and Overlord has been able to hit level 10. Full defense from LG here as Slash gets on the KO board and Sorok gets knocked out. Overlord finds 1 onto the Espeon as well, and Kyrio starts getting involved in the fight. KO streak of 2 from Slash as that Snarl hits so many members. Mean Look traps this poor Slowbro as the rest of LG cleans up, and a first big team fight victory for LG.
5 KOs straight, not from the same person, but just a team combined, and then getting healed back up immediately. A great lead for LG to take.
Overlord steals away that blue buff as well, not really needing that cooldown reduction, but taking it away from Mame's Leafeon is a pretty good start to this initial mid-fight. We have a 1v1 starting to be kind of sized up between P and Rin in that top path, but Rin going to think better of it and decide to escape. LG does have this Registeel buff, so both of these teams are going to take it a little bit slow. It's tough to go in against a huge attack buff like the Registeel can provide.
This is an awkward moment. There's very little EXP, wild EXP on the map. Everything now is being farmed, but there's no real place for OYASUMI Makuro to be. They're holding this forward position. They've got a few things that they can take, but I think they're really just waiting for somebody to be out of position.
Yeah.
And now they might be rotating. We are going to get the Reggie spawning at about the same time. They're both taking nearly instantly.
I think they were waiting for that portal to show up on the minimap so they could actually rotate towards this top path, but not all of LG rotated into the bottom. Instead, Luminosity trying to find this double speedster composition of OYASUMI Makuro and read the flank, but instead, Japan is going to be rotating down to the bottom path. The last hope of the West in Luminosity Gaming is making that rotation, and Elo's Hoopa is in position to use that Unite move and a big score push from LG into the top path.
Oh, it looks like they're gonna, oh, the Hoopa Unite's actually coming out. But in the meantime, there's gonna be Rin taking most of the center area. It looks like we're gonna get 1-for-1 in the trade. A huge battle.
Overlord's burn and anger hit so many members, and Elo's Hyperspace Fury is a huge shutdown onto OYASUMI Makuro. And I think with this team fight win, we can truly say the momentum has swung in the favor of Luminosity Gaming. OYASUMI's Makuro's lead in that early game, that big experience push they had with those early game Pokemon over top of the Venusaur seems to be non-existent at this point as LG is online.
They are doing such an amazing job. They've got a ton of experience as well on their side. All that center experience just going to Rin in the meantime. Regieleki going uncontested by both teams, but they used that Hoopa Unite so extremely well, deciding whether or not they decide to flex down. They did decide to flex down. This is going to be a huge outnumber. Still going to manage to get out of there, but Rin still just waiting in the tall grass to take them out.
Wow.
Whoa, gets lifted.
Telekinesis there from the Slowbro to hold them in place for just a moment. Amazing work there as Rin tries to hold this goal zone defense up. Caught by yet another telekinesis, but this time only the Espeon is there for the damage buildup, and that's not going to be enough. Mame and P are going to be scoring in that top path right now, but Kyrios actually takes one. Amazing work there as Kyrios defends that goal zone thanks to a very quick rotation from Elo's Hoopa.
And look at this. We actually are seeing Overlord, despite not really being the one that looked like they're popping off, at 14 already at the above 3-minute mark. Finally, this Regieleki, the second Regieleki, going down this late at the 3-minute mark as well. That's going to be the last one we're going to have. Not going to have to worry about that later, but that's just going to push a little bit more space as they fight towards these final 2 minutes.
Yeah, if you're looking for big Overlord pop-off moments, watch out for when that Verdant Anger comes in with that Unite move from Venusaur. Every single time they have been hitting multiple targets, and since they are running the Energy Amplifier in their item loadout, the next Solar Beam after that Unite move is dealing considerable more damage. That combination has been devastating so far. Slash again, escaping from a 1v4 situation, not from a 1v5 though, as OYASUMI Makuro is going to shut down that escape route.
Now there is the option, well I gotta say Rin is at a very dangerous position. There is an option for either of these teams to go for this basement Reggie. Not a lot of time, they kind of would have had to be there already. It looks like they're all gonna be focusing on this Rayquaza pit, and it's understandable the lead is big but not too significant.
I love this positioning from Rin actually on this Asian, playing from behind, because it's going to be up to Luminosity to do some early poke damage and then trust Rin to be a sweeper. But with an early knockup from Kyrios onto Mame, Mame's got a 15-second respawn timer. LG with a huge advantage towards this Rayquaza, and Rin now has eyes on PE.
P and Rin, they were just switched sides. They were both in the top again, but waiting to flank. Oh, and there we go with telekinesis. He's not going to actually pull all that much, trying to stop people from getting back into the Hoopa portal. I love that strategy. It didn't really actually mean that much yet, but it still could come into play. Most of the members of Luminosity are sitting right next to Ray. A lot of the fight happening above Rin, getting 1v3'd, getting out of there, escaping, gonna be going back, gonna have time. All these Unites are still up. The big engagement has not yet happened.
Yeah, OYASUMI Makuro able to buy enough time for Mame to come back off of respawn. We're gonna be trying to dunk in 30 in a split push, but Rin is getting the chase down, utilizing that Zacian passive on that chase move, and they get the KO. Espeon Rotate tries to lift them all up in the air, but now Slash is stealing away those shields from the Bliss Assistance Unite move. That on-paper counter working out perfectly as LG is going to take 3 KOs in a row.
Only the Leafeon and the Slowbro up. The Leafeon is an amazing tool for potentially getting this secure, but can it be there in time? No, it's not even going to be there in general, and it's going to be Kyrios taking it in the Ray Pit. 49 seconds left. There's already a lead on the side of Luminosity. Only one up, only the Zoroark, and that's going to be none, as it's going to be Luminosity securing game number 1 of Winners Finals.
Not without my heart beating out of my chest, Wonderchef. That was so incredibly close. There were definitely chances for a Rayquaza steal from OYASUMI Makuro, but Luminosity Gaming holding on in a clutch moment. Overlord trusting in their damage numbers with a big Unite move towards the Rayquaza, doubling down with the Solar Beam, and then Kyrios, the captain, securing the Rayquaza, and now Luminosity in Winners Finals is going to go up 1-0. This team is very familiar with this situation. They remember what it feels like to be champions. They want to see it again.
You get to see them in the cameras right there. Overlord just laughing like, hey, I remember this. You love to see it. What a beautiful repeat. The Luminosity fans out in strength. The Japanese fans as well for OYASUMI Makuro. I've not heard the crowd this this loud, but now what I want to hear is our analysts, Kellosaurus and Doobsnacks.
Holy macaroni, Doob Snacks. That was an insane match. Luminosity, they are looking clean.
I mean, there's so much to say about this team. I mean, we're getting a quick little cheat peek here, 709-160 final score, but let's look at that score graph itself. Bang. And it wasn't any surprise after they took Rayquaza, but it was team fight after team fight, convincing win after convincing win. They were seeing the bodies and they were taking them down, sending them back to the Pokemon Center. OYASUMI Makuro looking to bounce back here in game 2, but they're going to have to switch up what they're bringing to the table.
Well, they're going to switch up next up in that pick fan base, but first we need to crunch these numbers. Have a look. We obviously had Overlord there on that Solar Beam Giga Drain, dishing out 64k damage, but Rene on the Zacian there and Kyrios as well, securing themselves that Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to note, though, yes, LG won the game, but something that you have to give credit OYASUMI Makuro for, this is the lowest damage number we've seen out of Overlord all weekend, 64k, spreading the love across Kyrios and Rin. And we're going to see exactly how OYASUMI Makuro pulled that off, and of course how LG pulled off the win.
This is why I said there is no Iron Team, okay? You've got to spread it out across the board. Gotta let the whole team shine. But here we go, the slash and dash, the Zacian trying to fight back, ends up getting taken down, and it was back on the hunt.
Yeah, but really a great start by OYASUMI Makuro. We saw that KO streak of 2 from the Slowpoke early on. A nice little follow-up there from the Zoroark as well. But then the tides began to turn a little bit as these levels balance back out and then swing into the favor of Luminosity.
Well, I mean, Zacian did have that Holloway, so was able to manage those tides and captain that ship. You can obviously see the push here, everybody there to try and defend that pad.
I mean, just great work all around. A nice Hoopa Unite here going to help leverage that. 3 players down, and they're following that up and following suit. As quickly everybody had to go down, Espion had to get out of dodge, and that basement Reggie became free for LG.
Yes, it did become free, but here we go. We almost had that final stretch. As you could see, the solar beams that were coming out from Overlord, the poke damage, the chases that were happening in this match. It was such a scramble and so incredible to see.
Yeah, I mean, also the mean look there from Slash, following up and trapping the Leafeon so could not get out was a key and critical play there. 1 minute in the floor, but there was 4 players down. Just coming off respawn was the Zoroark there. LG seals it up and puts in a bucket load of points. Game 1 to the NA squad.
That's right, game 1. It isn't over just yet. They haven't locked in that deal in that grand finals. But as it was mentioned, they have been in this position before. They want to make it all the way to the end. But we have to highlight the player of the game, the Umbreon. You were talking about those mean looks played by Slash, having that experience, Eos Cookie and Focus Band to just give it that sustain.
Yeah, taking a ton of damage, of course, but a lot of assists as well, and that's what Mean Look does, trapping players, and you have somebody like Overlord with that Solar Beam, just knocking them down as you line them up. Slash did their job expertly there, getting those 12 assists, and that's a nod to them.
Look, it's not the bowling ball I was thinking about, right? I mean, it's a long Solar Beam, so not a ball. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, if the beam is not the ball, it's definitely the alley that everything's getting thrown down. But they were able to rack up some KOs. It was nice to see Slash getting a little bit of credit for all the work that they put in for this team to facilitate players like Overlord and Rin and Kyrios, of course.
Yes, it all comes together, and you know, as I said, there's no I in team. It's all about that team communication, that trust that these teams have of each other.
That's without a doubt. Now, Yokohama has absolutely come alive with the Pokemon World Championships being here. And at night, we actually have a little bit of drone show action of a show that goes on right outside of the venue here. And we wanted to give everybody that couldn't quite make it a sample.
Look, we've seen fireworks in Pokemon Unite, but why not just witness it, especially if you're here at the venue, right in that sky. That Pikachu looks spectacular.
Well,
look at the electro.
According to me, the second favorite Pokemon of everybody at home there. Okay. Sick call, Dupe Snacks. You're crushing it out there. A nice representation. Of course, the globe, as we are here for the World Championships. And is that the second favorite Pokemon's Lightning covering the globe? Big question mark.
I can't answer you there, but look at that. We do have the little Pikachus popping on up there. That is so cute.
The little Pikachu heads, the lightning bolts, it looks good. I just wish maybe it was Charizard, you know, everybody's favorite Pokemon.
Well, I mean, we are all wearing Pikachu pins here today.
What?
And I have seen a fair few Pikachus, but I must say, this is looking incredible. The double Pikachu as well. So if you are here
Truly
in
adorable.
Yokohama, Japan,
Truly adorable.
please check it out in the night sky.
These are, again, this is a drone show, so all drones being put up. I mean, obviously, I don't know how that works. I'm not a scientist, but it looks great. And it's here for our entertainment and our enjoyment. I mean, we've seen the Ferris wheel outside of the venue get lit up with a bunch of Pokemon-themed things. Of course, there's the manhole lids that were painted differently to represent different scenes across the city as well. Everything, like we mentioned, has come alive for the World Championships here in Yokohama.
They have decked this place out. It looks spectacular, not only in the stadium, but out in the streets as well. Obviously, seeing that Fuecoco there, one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, we just saw Sprigatito. Hopefully Quaxley gets a little bit of love. I would think maybe my personal favorite, definitely Spraggles with that head of lettuce that Quaxley is sporting, no doubt about it.
I am a Quaxley crew as well. But,
Really?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm a fan of all three. How could you not? They're all very, very lovable.
I tend to agree. This is a nice 3D Pokeball here, of course, to round this thing out. You see what I did there? So the ball, it's round.
Round.
Bang,
Okay,
here we
I
go.
see.
And now you can see how packed this house is. Believe it or not, Unite actually has 2 stages going on. At the B stage, they're broadcasting what we have on the main stage, and all of those seats are filled as well. People are hyped about Pokemon Unite.
Look, it's not just the United crowd. You can see the whole stadium there. It is looking incredible. Everybody is cheering for their favorite players, their favorite teams. They want to watch this action unfold right in front of them.
Yeah, and 2 favorite teams that we've got are right here playing against each other. LG with the backing of NA, and OYASUMI Makuro battling on their home turf with the backing of Japan. LG up a game, banning the Urshifu, OYASUMI Makuro taking away Overlord Zora.
Well, it makes sense. They do play a very mean Zoroark, but we do have Renee picking up the Lapras first pick. Not an unusual thing, well, no surprises here.
Not an unusual thing at all, but as we mentioned before, Rin really leveling up their game on that Lapras specifically this weekend and especially today.
Look, speaking about level up, we have one level up picking up that Umbreon, and they have picked up that Zacian away from Luminosity.
It almost felt like LG's pick of Zacian in the first game was just to make sure that OYASUMI Makuro would not have it. And of course, when they had the opportunity, they snatched it up right away. But also gone is Elo's Hoopa.
Hoopa and Leafeon as well. So these are going to be these final picks. They are going to be so crucial for this team composition. Are we going to see another Venusaur Overlord? No. Oh, look, they had to give some love to Pikachu, right? They had to put their own the stage.
Without a doubt, they're going to pick the Speedster for Overlord there on the Dodrio. Elo's back on comfy duty, and we're going to see how well Elo can do their job because Overlord is looking to take over this game. PE maybe going to this Espeon again, and that was my big question mark here in game 1, and it looks like they might be going with a pivot here in game 2. I like this Mew pick when you just saw Dodrio on the other side of the map.
Look, it doesn't matter if you take out the Zoroark because you have the Dodrio Comfey Duo as well. With that speed to come and chase them down, but also the stuns that the Comfey might end up coming out here, depending on which move it goes, whether it's the Grass Knot or the Magical Leaf. You do not want to get caught out in it.
No, without a doubt. And we're talking about, like, Comfey doesn't have as much skill expression as you would like to see a player as phenomenal as Elo have. Grass Knot is one of those things that Comfey has in its kit, and Elo is a player that can use that skill expression to take over games on a less takeover game-ish Pokemon, if you will. These teams are locked and loaded, and our casters are as well. So we're going to get Zoinks and Wonder Chef back in here. Take it away.
OYASUMI Makuro with their backs against the wall against a team that is very familiar with the World Championship stage. In fact, they currently hold that title of being World Champions. OYASUMI Makuro trying to play spoiler, but also trying to prove to their home region that they belong in that grand finals.
What an excellent set of teams to be in this winners finals, but the pressure is truly on at this point. And I gotta say, I'm gonna play a game of heads up with you. All right, here's the hint. It's a legendary from Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yes. Samus and... no, it's Zacian. Yes,
It was a trick question. It was a trick question, actually, because it was two. I want to talk about them both.
Okay.
The fact that we're still seeing the Urshifu band and Zacian go to the other side, I feel, are two huge parts of this match.
Yeah.
But let's see how they affect it exactly. LG up at match point on the left side. OYASUMI Makuro on the right.
OYASUMI Makuro building basically another double dive composition, right? You're running that Leafeon, you're running that Zacian. Both of those are melee damaging Pokemon. They need to be up close and personal. It's going to be up to the Mew of Yume to really do some early damage and soften up those HP bars before the top tier level players at OYASUMI Makuro can get to work.
And can I just note as well, I love the role switches that they have on their team. It's going to be Mame now on the Hoopa. Yume, instead of playing the support, is switching over to the Mew. It's that level of flexibility that is super cool to see. We've seen it from OYASUMI Makuro before.
Yeah, Overlord trying to get a bit of an invade. Oh, no, sorry. This is actually P getting this invade done, and they steal away the blue buff from this Doduo. It's going to be real tough for Overlord to hit level 5 now. They are going to get that knockout. Elo takes credit for that one, but thanks to that experience share, Dodrio is going to be here on the map.
And Elo with the double buff, a little bit less useful, I think, than some of the other supports that could potentially get it, but, you know, still can be used. Like you said, one of the best support players in the world, without a doubt, a huge throwback. That's going to be at least one. They're going to go back to Ninja Doll. Synergy with the hyperspace portal is so amazing, but still, that's going to be a good win on the side of LG.
As good as that looked when everybody just watched that, it was even better, I promise you. That Sacred Sword with that big circle of AoE damage is such a problem for Luminosity to deal with, but Overlord choosing that Drill Peck is huge. It's going to give them just enough mobility to not only do damage, but avoid those huge area of effect damages that Zacian was just trying to put down. Incredible work from Overlord and Elo in that duo. But here we go, OYASUMI Makuro looking to have another robbery.
Oh, look at this. 3 members of OYASUMI Makuro trying to take down Overlord, but that's not going to be the easiest thing in the world with the Comfey hanging on. This could turn around very quickly. Can't get out of there. The Mii looks going to be a great option, but only so great backup is arriving. LG just going up even in more KOs. Can they catch the Umbreon as well? The answer is yes.
Mame putting down that portal for their Umbreon was essentially a sacrificial play. They had no more mobility options to dodge Overlord. Even Phantom Force wouldn't be fast enough to avoid this Dodrio. Overlord getting up close and personal. P lands a huge Solar Blade with the Comfey healing as well as the escape route from Overlord. Looks like it's going to be enough as they chase away. Razor Leaf, though, bringing a ton of damage. And Overlord goes down. Elo drops off. They need to earn some more flowers as now Rin is going to be the major one taking this fight. A Grass Knot locks onto P, but Rin unfortunately does not have the mobility to chase down that KO.
Ooh, there was a chance for a lot of KOs here, but that Hoopa reset was gigantic. Now, Rin is probably not going to be going down. They realize that you don't want to try to take that, especially on a tier 1 this early. So they're going to be rotating down. They're going to be immediately focusing on this basement Regice, and only a few members of Luminosity are here to even challenge it. There's a chance to steal, but they're not even focusing on them.
Yeah, Surf tries to knock up a couple of people, but Solar Blade is going to lock it down from OYASUMI Makuro. They're going to grab the first objective of the game. Curious able to dodge the Unite move from Leafeon, but not the Solar Blade as Ninja Doll runs out and that huge damage enters the field. Overlord, Unite move, triple trample, gets a ton of damage onto the Constitution, but it's not enough as P turns the tide of this to match right now, and Elo and Overlord are down.
An amazing play. So much damage to the team, but nobody there to follow it up. So maybe not the right time. Whoa, manages to get around. Catch P. An amazing little dodge right there. Rin with the maneuverability. That was an amazing call, but now I think they're going to have to back up. That was a 4-person reset.
We're in Japan, so that's a Tokyo Drift on that Lapras Express.
Right. I wasn't going to say it. I thought it, but I wasn't going to say it.
Amazing play there from Rin to get that 1 KO. It is a small trade, but Leafeon, one of the highest level members on the opposite team, actually means that Rin is going to take that credit now since they have hit that double-digit level. 40 points going to go in for Rin, and this goal zone is getting extremely close to breaking. They want to break early because of that Hoopa, but now the Mew finds a KO the other direction. Zacian getting the chase down, but I think they're finally deciding to relent. No, OYASUMI Makuro wants to put this siege on now.
This can actually be so scary between the Lapras and the Dodrio. You could turn this around pretty quickly. Right now, it's just a little bit of a distraction. That actually allows Rin to heal quite a good amount, but that is a chunk! The double hit of the Zacian and the Leafeon!
A 3-player knockup, though, from Rin with that Lapras Express. That is so much damage the other direction. Only 2 knockouts as the 2 defenders from Luminosity are going to grab either one of those, but a Solar Beam from the side of Yume is going to take out Curios. That is a huge, impactful Pokemon eliminated from that team fight, and OYASUMI Makuro holds on to a victory in that small moment.
We can see P rotating up, gonna get 40 in this top tier 1. That is huge. That's gonna set up a great overdunk potential. They also have the ability to try, and I don't know exactly what that Solar Blade was, but they have the ability to try and get that Regieleki if they want to. Only 2 members down at the base, and Reggie's spawning from Luminosity. In the meantime, it looks like there are gonna be some rotations back up towards top. They might be taking down the tier 1 on the side of Luminosity as we're watching.
Finally, this goal zone break is going to happen. Luminosity Gaming cutting off Mame's value on this Hoopa just a little bit, but Mame going to try to find value elsewhere with a huge top path push. A Unite move is going to bring multiple members of OYASUMI Makuro to increase that score lead. That is going to be very, very contentious, but Luminosity is still holding on to it. Curios trying to secure that Registeel, but Leafeon is in position to take it. Solar Blade grabs it. Curios shut down, and the Ninja Doll not enough to survive P.
Curios has really been on the receiving end of that Leafeon's damage a lot this game, and look at this, things are starting to turn back in the favor of OYASUMI Makuro. It seemed like they were kind of behind, but they're finding all the picks, Overlord included. They are running as a group, they are not getting picked off. However, Luminosity is holding on to the score lead, and that's going to be very important. We did see a match off broadcast on the B stage where OYASUMI Makuro, when Mame was on the Hoopa, decided to completely forego Rayquaza and just unite everybody towards their home base, counter score.
We call that one a Yamada, and it looked like one of the best ones we'd seen so far. And in this game, what I have been watching is this player right here, Level Up on this Umbreon, has had Overlord's number in this mid-game. Mean look after mean look, and Overlord has been caught out and just put in too much danger. Elo's healing on this Comfey is fantastic, but when 4 members are turning towards a small circle, Overlord has got nowhere to run.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a classic counter. Whoa, going in a circle saying, I don't know if I want to do that, actually. Maybe let's go the other direction, make a U-turn. Just kidding. Picking up my friend before we come and hang out. And that's going to be a pretty angry friend, I think, bringing along Overlord. On the meantime, on the bottom side, not too much going on. A little bit of an engage, just trying to challenge each other for a lot of that neutral experience. Rin as well, just getting healed back up by the Comfey slowly, and of course, just by the self-sustain of the Lapras.
I actually really like that offensive use of the Lapras Express from Rin, because we're at that 3:30-minute mark. You're going to want to use that Unite move no matter what, because you can earn it back, but just even trolling around in your own area, you're being a really tough opponent to push into. So a great defensive positioning around that spot really opens up the battlefield, and OYASUMI Makuro cannot push into that defender while they are uniting, else they're going to be terribly stunned.
All right, here's the decision. Will there be an attempt for the 15-second long take on the basement Reggie as it spawns, or are we just going to preemptively position? Definitely know the answer here for OYASUMI Makuro. They're behind, they need points, but as far as experience goes, they are ahead, they are leading, they have been winning most of these fights. It doesn't look like anybody's going for any objective, but the most important one in the game.
It's really interesting too, because I don't think up until that point, either team had much intel about where the vision was either direction. Amnesia going to shrug off that boosted auto attack from Yume on to Slash. They're going to be doing all right, again, defending that goal zone. Both Elo and Rin are hanging out around this top path. They know that the Leafeon wants to score, and Leafeon is going to move undetected towards that tier number 1, as our team fight still has yet to pop off around our final stretch.
And just as a note, Umbreon Unite, just barely coming up as I say that. Everything's available. That's going to be the first engagement going down off the bat. Rin coming in from behind as well. Can we get pick number 2? Umbreon Unite coming out, gonna grab some shields. Not sure if it's enough. A lot of the shields popped on the side of Luminosity. After the fact, Mame popping the Hoopa unbound, but who's there to even come through the portal?
P with an amazing eject button Solar Blade combo, and they get the chase down with the Unite move. The Emerald 2-step is going to knock out the Inteleon. And yes, even with that back cap, they took the lead momentarily, but Luminosity Gaming sent Overlord to score as well, and now they have the lead, 293 to 242. This is going to come down some last-second heroics in terms of score.
Oh, catching at the NP with an amazing Solar Blade. We're going to have defender versus defender. Rin definitely with the advantage here. The idea might just be to defend. It looks like we're going to see an attempt maybe to take this Rayquaza with 40 seconds left. Everybody retreating back towards the middle.
They have Station Unite move, one of the best secures of the game, but they're gone. Lapras finds the KO. Rayquaza down to a fraction of the HP, and it's going to be OYASUMI Makuro taking the last hit, but only 2 members have the Rayquaza shields. Luminosity Gaming is going to be charging towards these goal zones and trying to score, but OYASUMI Makuro is going to start putting up their defense.
Oh,
Lapras scores! Lapras scores!
It's gone back! It's gone back! That's a 200
Heroics are back again. The last hope of the West. North America's dreams coming true as Luminosity Gaming goes again to Grand Finals with some last-second heroics. Unbelievable. Despite losing a Rayquaza, they are going to be going and winning this match 2-0 against a team the caliber of OYASUMI Makuro.
Setting themselves up in the best position you could possibly be in. What an amazing end of that game. I always say, you know, the real test of how strong a team is or a player is not how they play when they're ahead, but how they play when things don't turn out the way that they want to. And the immediate speed at which they shifted to score in a difficult situation after they lost that Rayquaza and win the game was a sign of how strong Luminosity is as a team.
OYASUMI Makuro keeping pace that entire time, though. Pui with that back score, that back cap, actually tying up or getting the lead for a short moment, but then Overlord winning that 1v1 and scoring in the bottom path to shake things up yet again. I mean, it all came down to a final fight, and there they are, Luminosity Gaming in a brand new form. We all recognize this team, and we all recognize how powerful they have been in the past, but I'm talking about the present. This team is unreal.
They are playing so well. It looked a little bit shaky as the tournament started, but they have over time just looked better and better. Even in this set, I want to bring up the fact that they switched to two completely different comps.
Absolutely.
From game 1 to game 2, and that has been something that infamously over the course of this season, Luminosity has had somewhat of a shaky history with.
And we've talked about a lot of heroics in that match specifically, but I think the biggest moment was Rin's Lapras in game number 2. So many moments. No, I genuinely think there was Lapras Unite to Lapras Unite that was impactful with those final moments around Rayquaza where they were able to secure the knockout onto the Zacian. That target priority is so unbelievably big brain. I can't not describe it. Such a good job from Luminosity. And yes, they're a new addition to this roster, but oh my word, have they earned their place up there.
We talk about the caster curse, but this wasn't, I mean, literally, just look at this, but you can't say it's caster curse because it was them having the same idea that you knew. You were literally saying that Zacian Unite is what can take this Rayquaza, and then boom, the Unite comes in, they take down Sui, and that is that.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's basic math, and I'm glad these teams have went to elementary school because it is such a solid showing from these teams. I gotta watch this one again. I know we're doing just one highlight package production. If we could watch this 4 or 5 times, I'd be very happy.
No, they'll do it. Don't tell them to do that. I said we need to watch this at 10% speed, and they legitimately did it, which thank you very much. But this was such an amazing set. This also set, man, it was brawls from literally like minute 1 to minute 10 of every single game.
P's Leafeon, by the way, is something that they are going to have to watch out for in loser's bracket.
Yes.
Their Urshifu has been schmoovin' all weekend long. I don't think I've had the chance to see their amazing Leafeon play as much as I would have desired, because this game, their Leafeon was getting knockout after knockout. I don't think they ever lost a 1v1.
It's true, and they had some amazingly aimed Leaf Blades as well. That's the thing about Leafeon, and it's very skill intensive. If you miss that, you are just doing nothing. But I also have to say, there's so much to talk about this set. Like, can we have an extra hour, please? But the fact that LG, infamously one of the strongest teams in the world at using Urshifu, banned Urshifu both games. I gotta say, you called that they should do that before the match. Everybody out there, you should know already, Zoinks is a genius. But they did that. It worked so well for them.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm blushing. It's really hard to talk when I'm blushing. This was when Wonder Chef is complimenting me like that. But this was OYASUMI Makuro's hope, though. If you're watching this highlight reel right now, the Umbreon was looking real good in that mid-game from that point on. But this call-out, oh my word, I mean, it happened twice. The Zacian target priority happened twice in this match. Umbreon unites before the Slowbro Unite move, and they get that shields after. Luminosity Gaming just playing picture-perfect macro in Pokemon Unite. I mean, they are true masters of this game.
Yeah, it's Luminosity Makuro after this.
Correct.
No, absolutely. That was a great pick, by the way. That was almost the game-winning pick. I just gotta say, that went it was that close to be the other direction. Primarily because of that, you can watch it right here. Your moment.
These final moments, Mew with the Unite move to try to get that Solar Beam, and they are the ones to secure it. However, Zacian going down here means that only 2 members received those Rayquaza shields, and with Luminosity having that slight lead, they were in good position. The crowd popping off. LG popping up, and now they have a winner's bracket advantage in Grand Finals.
And our player of the game, maybe honestly the player of the set, honestly, looking at both games, Rin on the Lapras. Of course, this Lapras, we just went over so much of why it was important. I also want to just point out how impressive that Zacian was. The way that they ran away with that in that top path really dictated the entire pace of the first game.
Rin has had to be anything and everything for this roster from time to time, right? They are that hyper flex. Overlord gets to pick their carry of choice, but Rin really needs to fill into that slot. And there you go. You have Jungle Book, of course, also a record holder for that world champion last year. Currently the sub for the roster, congratulating the team on what was an amazing winners finals. One of my favorite matches that we've had so far today.
Yes, I seriously feel like we could break that down for like an hour. Like,